Hi everyone. Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to make this classic bobo. If it's something you want to learn, please stick to the end of the video. All right, so first I started by measuring out what I wanted. I folded my fabrics into four, measured out the depth of the neck, which was 3 inches by 3 inches for the front and 3 inches by 1.5 for the back. And then I went down and measured 18 inches downwards because I was making this for a plus size. So it had to be 18 inches. Basically, you can just make this by dividing your hip by 4 and then adding 5 inches. So I measured 24 from the shoulder to create my arm, and then the armhole was 12 inches. So I created that curve over there, and then I went ahead to cut. First, I started by cutting the back neckline, and then I came in by 4 inches to create a slit there, and then I went ahead and cut the front neckline as well. Okay, so the next thing I did was to fold the sequins to cut the front. So I did that, and then at the shoulder I went in by 6 inches, and then I went down by 24 inches. Depending on how long you want this to be, I went down by 24 inches. At that 24 inches point from the center front, I marked 4 inches inwards, and then from the shoulder, which was 6 inches, I now created a slant which I wanted. You can make this into any shape that you so desire. It just depends on what you want. So I did that, and then I cut out, and yes, after cutting, this was what we had. I went ahead and then I folded for the back as well, cut the neck, at the same 6 inches at the shoulder points, created that 4 inches dart, and then I went down from the dart by 4 inches and I created the curve. I created the curve I wanted. I cut that out, and that was it. The next thing I did was to cut hairstyle for the front and the back sequence, and then I gummed the hairstyle to this. This is to give it firmness whenever we're working on it. Sequence is a very funny fabric, by the way. All right, so I was done doing that, and the next thing I did was to fold in half inch at the edges of the sequence, both for the front and the back. This is to make it easy when I'm sewing on the fabric. Next I went was to join the shoulders of the fabric together, both the sequence and the fabric. So I also went ahead to weave, and when I was done, this was me. I turned the right side of the sequence to the wrong side of the main fabric, and I went ahead to join the neck. I always make sure I use hemming glue whenever I'm joining, just to get a good finish when I'm pressing. So when I was done, I turned it inside out, and then I gave it a good press to make sure it was sitting well on the fabric. I also went ahead to glue it down using hemming glue, and then I this part was the sequence that was going to be at the end of the sleeve. I also turned it by half inch to the side that is going to be facing the sleeve. I always use hemming glue because it helps my fabric to stay in place. So I went ahead and I joined that part to the sleeve and came back to give it a good pressing. Remember I said I used my hemming glue, and that actually helped to give it a good finishing. It's laid very well. Same time I put hemming glue at the edge just to make sure it's laced properly and it to be in place for me to sew when it's time to sew. So after I did this, I went ahead and sewed those parts together, and I also stitched on the fabric in front, and then I went ahead to join the two sides of the fabric together. I measured the desired armhole I wanted, and from the armhole I joined straight down, and I did the same thing for both sides of the fabric. So when I was done, this is me giving it a final press. I did that, and this was the result of what we got. It looks so fine. So tell me if you have any question in the comment section, and please let me know if you would be loving to see more of these. And also I would like to plead with you to please subscribe and share.